Hi, I'm Scott Apel, video critic for the San Jose Mercury News, and your host for The Prisoner here on Channel 54. Since we've been unable to run our little discussion sessions for the past 3 weeks, we thought it might be useful to viewers if we briefly recap the action of the first 4 episodes. So, our story so far: a top-level spy angrily resigns his job and is spirited away to a mysterious prison without bars known only as the Village. In the first episode, The Arrival, our hero is introduced to the one person who seems to be the leader of the village, a man known only as Number 2. The prisoner is told that he knows too much to be set loose in society and is given a number of his own, Number 6. He's also told there is no escape from the village and soon discovers this may very well be true. In episode 2, The Chimes of Big Ben, the prisoner tries another escape, only to discover that his entire escape attempt was an elaborate plot concocted by the new Number 2 to extract his secrets. In the third episode, The A, B, and C, yet another Number 2 tries to discover the prisoner's secrets by manipulating and observing his dreams. Our hero scores his first victory against the village here, implying perhaps that they can imprison his body, but they will never enslave his mind. Last week, in Free For All, the prisoner ran for the office of Number 2 in the village's mockery of free elections. The sheep-like villagers jumped on his bandwagon in response to his shallow but clever campaign slogans. But when he used his position to attempt another escape, he was brutally beaten, both physically and emotionally. So, the score so far stands at Village 3, Prisoner 1. Tonight, the cat and mouse game continues, this time on the battlefield of psychology, as the new Number 2 attacks the prisoner's very sense of identity by turning him into someone else. This episode, which was directed by Patrick McGowan, is full of quotable lines, as well as many interesting details about the prisoner's past. Pay particular attention to the manner in which McGowan expresses emotions through his hand gestures, probably a remnant of his days on the stage. Immediately following tonight's episode, I'll be back to share some viewer mail, and I'll have another surprise or two, so be sure to stay tuned. But now, here's episode number 5 of The Prisoner, The Schizoid Man. Prisoner 2. He's won another victory, but he still hasn't escaped. As in Wonderland, it took all the running around he could do just to stay in one place. He's preserved his identity, but he's still the prisoner. This episode leads us to ask a very important question. Just what is identity? Being of two minds about the subject myself, I've invited an expert in village psychology here to debate this question. Welcome, please, number 108. 108, thank you for coming. My pleasure, 54. 108, I'm sure our viewers would like to know how you define identity. Identity is appearance. Plastic surgery can alter appearance without changing the individual. If appearance is identity, you wouldn't catch me dead in this outfit. Identity is the social roles we play, but social roles are merely name tags to show what function we're fulfilling at a given moment. Top psychologists agree that identity is nothing more than behavior, and Pavlov and Skinner have proven that behavior can be altered through conditioning. Well, in lower animals, perhaps, but not if the subject is aware of what's happening. The trouble with science is it can be perverted. Well then, Mr. BS in psychology, what is identity? I can't give you a definitive answer, but this episode gave us a good clue when the Haitian controller said to Number 2, in Haiti we'd say he's stolen his soul. The soul? Metaphysical hogwash. Show me a soul. Well, I'll do better than that. I'll show you where you'd be without one. Be seeing you. I'm melting! Melting! Well, at least that debate wasn't a split decision. But on to more important matters. Your mail. Our first letter comes from Andy Watson, who is the editor of the Philip K. Dick Society newsletter. Philip Dick was a widely acclaimed and very prolific author, now unfortunately deceased, who is best known for his science fiction novels, most of which dealt with the nature of reality. Andy writes, I am struck by a correspondence in thematic content between The Prisoner and the works of Philip K. Dick. Like Number 6, Philip Dick's protagonists are nearly always locked in furious struggle with powerful forces completely beyond their control. But though they are dominated physically, and occasionally even metaphysically, they usually manage to maintain their own identity and personal drives, if not else. Philip Dick respected the sanctity of the individual and placed a great deal of value in personal integrity. And he goes on to talk about some of the differences between Philip Dick's characters in number 6. He ends up by saying, Philip Dick has striven to depict a realistic assessment of his scenarios, whereas The Prisoner was designed to function allegorically. And while Philip Dick consistently worked towards rehumanization of individual acts, The Prisoner repeatedly demonstrates the ultimate futility of an individual's struggle against environmental forces. Well, maybe not. We'll have to keep watching to see. Footnote, more information about Philip K. Dick can be obtained through the Philip K. Dick Society, P.O. Box 611, Glen Ellen, California, 95442. We got a card from Anthony Badiato, who wanted to know something about the symbology of the umbrellas, but rather than my answer it, we're going to bring on a letter from Jennifer Habersat of Campbell. She included many symbols, analysis of many symbols in her letter. One of them was the umbrellas. The umbrellas, she says, are brightly colored and rather frivolous. Perhaps they are the sort of shield of frivolity and lightness, hiding what is underneath. During the 1930s, the movies were excessively happy and carefree while people starved in Hoover towns. The utilitarian aspect of an umbrella is to keep the elements from affecting the person using it. So there could be a dual purpose to the umbrellas. One is a facade of well-being, the other is a form of ineffective protection. Thank you, Jennifer. Next letter is from Dara, the barefoot poet. Among other things, she says, metaphors aside, what is the prisoner's physical function in the village? In episode 1, he is taken to the labor exchange and presumably is to be given some sort of employment. He rejects this, and as far as I know, that's the last reference in the series to day-to-day work for him. Does this mean that he forces the village to support him? Is it a statement on the enslavement most people face in their day-to-day jobs? Certainly, it's a statement about mine. Thank you. Another letter we got included a little present. I wanted to show this sign on the air. This project is so secret, even I don't know what I'm doing. It's perfect for the prisoner. It came from a woman who wants to be known as Kathy. Her letter was just beautiful. It also included a paragraph that I'd like to read on the air. Kathy says, I really enjoy the show. It makes me think, to look at things more closely, to look into myself and maybe find a little hope to believe in. Number 6 has the strength we all need to be people. I, for one, can't say what would be or make the best world to live in, but if we can as persons keep or make our own identities, we may survive long enough to find out. It's beautiful sentiments, Kathy. Thank you very much for your letter and the present. And finally, to Greg Robinson, who wrote in with an answer, you are absolutely correct, but let's not tell the others. It would spoil it for them. Okay, if you would like to share your questions and perceptions with your fellow viewers, write to me at this address. The Prisoner, KTEH TV, Channel 54, 100 Skyport Drive, San Jose, California, 95115. Yours may be selected to be read on the air, and if it's good enough, we may be able to bring you on at the end of the series to participate in a studio discussion about The Prisoner. Now, how's that? Next week, we'll get a crash course in education as the prisoner meets the mysterious general and attempts to prove that knowledge is not necessarily wisdom. Until then, I'm Scott Apel, number 54. Or am I?